Hey everybody, Ray here. You know, when I'm shooting video or I'm on a Zoom call, I can never quite get the light to be the way I want it. When I'm sitting directly under my fluorescent lights here in my basement, for this it's just fine. But if I'm facing this way and I don't have the light completely correct, then my face will be too dark. It just doesn't look good. And I'm always trying to perfect the way the lighting is in my videos and in the Zoom calls because I want it to look professional. So one of the things I could do is to go out and get a small light like this, which I did. And this is a small light. It helps. It can light up one side of my face and make the lighting just look a little bit more professional, but it's really not powerful enough to do the job. I really need what they call a key light, that bright light that'll shine from one side. I could go out and spend hundreds of dollars for these, but you know me, I'm not going to do that without trying to do it on the cheap first. So I've seen a lot of videos about these pie pan lights that people make with LED strips. I couldn't find any pie pans that I thought were large enough. But what I did find at Sam's was a set of mixing bowls. And I think this should do really well. It should reflect all the light in here, and it should serve the same purpose as a pie pan, except it's a little bit thicker. It cost me $15 for a set of these bowls. Actually, I got 3 of them. I'm using the largest one for this project, and I've got 2 more that I guess I'll use as mixing bowls. I don't know. And then I bought a set of these Jovi daylight light strips. So LED strips, there's 16 feet of strip in here. I can use as much as I want and cut the end off of it. And then to diffuse the light, I've got myself some polyester, just some plain white polyester. I might use 1 sheet of this, or I might double it over and use 2, depending on how bright that is and how much diffusion I want to try to achieve. And this was $1.97 for this. So what you're looking at so far is about $32 to do this little project. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but I'll learn something along the way, one way or the other. If you think you'd like to see how I do this project, stick around and I'll show you. And don't forget, if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Now my plan is to mount this on a tripod. And of course, a tripod has a screw that comes out of it with a 1/4-inch thread. So what I did was I drilled a 1/4-inch hole in the bottom of my mixing bowl here. And then I glued a 1/4-inch bolt inside. So when I set this on the tripod, I'll be able to screw it up into this bolt. Now what I'm doing next is I'm removing the backing for the sticky part. And I'm taking my LED strip and I'm starting to stick it on the inside of my pan here. And what I will do is just spiral that around toward the inside until I've used up as much of the light as I can. And then I'll just cut it off at the end. Well, I got the LED strip just wrapped around in a coil at the inside. It took all 16 feet without a problem. And when you light it up, there it is on the lowest setting. You can take it up about 5 different settings. And when it's at the highest setting, that baby is some kind of bright. So let's move on to our next phase here, and that's putting some polyester on there to try to make it diffuse a little bit more, and then we'll test it out and see how it works. So we're going to try a couple of lighting tests here. So I now have my phone up on the back of my desk on my monitor stand. So this is what it would be like if I were shooting a video talking from my desk, or if I was on a Zoom call. And I think what you can see is, because that overhead light is kind of behind me this way, my face is kind of dark. And if I pointed the phone up anymore, it would be even darker because I'm trying to make sure I keep that ceiling light out of the frame of the picture. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn off the lights in the basement. And I'm going to turn on that key light that I just made, and I'm going to show you how it looks in a minute. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I've turned all the lights in the basement off, and I have that key light that we made coming in from the side. And it does create sort of an interesting shadow effect, but a little bit too much of a shadow effect. So what we're going to do is fill in this side here with this little light. And that then still gives us a bit of that shadow effect, but now it's a more full and complete video. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm really happy with this key light for the cost that it took to make it. I think it's really going to improve the lighting here. A couple of other things that I've noticed. With the lighting coming in from the side like this, it does two things. You can see that LED lighting that I have in my guitar display case on the side here much more vividly than you could when you had the overhead fluorescence on. And I think that creates a warmer, nicer background look. The second thing is that I think the lights coming in from the side create a more crisp edge around me. So what it does is it makes the person pop out a little bit more and give the whole thing a little bit more dimension. At least that's what I'm seeing. So I think this little test here was pretty successful. Let me show you what the final product looks like. So here's what it looked like after I put the polyester fabric on there. I wound up doubling over the polyester to give it more diffusion, but it worked great. And it fit on my tripod very well. That nut that I put on the inside fit right on the tripod, and I was able to screw it on there tightly. I just used a piece of bungee cord around here to hold it on temporarily. I'll come back and clean off all of this excess fabric and make it look a lot neater, but you don't need to see me do that. I think you can figure out how to use a pair of scissors. But very happy with it. Does a nice job, and it was very inexpensive. Well, this has to be one of the easiest projects I've ever done. It probably took me a half hour, maybe 45 minutes from start to finish. I do have to clean up that polyester a little bit and cut it so it looks neater around the light, but that's not going to take very much time. But the cool thing about it is, for a little over $30, I got myself a nice little adjustable light that's really going to help me perfect the way I do my lighting when I'm doing videos for YouTube or Zoom calls or photos or whatever. It's just a pretty cool little key light, I guess you'd call it. So go out and try it. I think it'll work great for you. If you like this video, don't forget, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.